Hi, my name is Dennis Siri. I am Executive Director and founder of the New York City Independent Film Festival, Independent in Spirit, International at Heart, and this is the New York City Independent Film Festival Meet the Filmmakers podcast. Join us while we meet this year's filmmakers. Thank you. Bye bye. Hello, hi, welcome to today's episode. We're here with Michael Marco. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a bit about you?
Hi, Dennis. Thank you for having me. My name is Michael Marco. I'm the writer-director of the independent crime thriller drama Blind Blood, an official selection of the New York City Independent Film Festival. That's pretty much it.
Okay, so we'll just jump right in. I guess so. My first question is, what made you want to be a filmmaker? Has that always been who you were, or did you decide to change as you got older, or what?
For me, it kind of started at a very young age. I kind of fell in love with acting first.
Mhm.
And doing a little play during the summer camp, and then I did another play in junior high, and that kind of was the deal that kind of sealed it for me, and really fell in love with acting. The filmmaking process happened later in life when I started to work originally for a little movie theater in the south of France. I was born and raised in the south of France and moved to the US, to Dallas, Texas in 1993.
Mhm.
But in growing up in that little town in the South, I kind of got involved with some guys that were running a little outdoor movie theater. And
Mhm.
so basically what they would do, it's they would take all the blockbusters from the year and have a different movie every night. So, as a kid, you're 15, 16 years old, you get to work, make a couple of bucks, and watch a movie for free every night. And that was kind of cool, So those guys also ran a little video group, and they basically put cameras in our hands, and we would go out and start shooting little any kind of social gathering. There was a little festival, and we would go and put little minute and a half, videos, and then they would put them on the local news. And so I remember when a guy put a camera in my hand, he was like, this is how you turn it on. This is where you look. This is your zoom. So now there's a little wine festival down the street. We're going to go interview a couple of winos, and they won't come back. And we're going to slice it up. And tomorrow he'll be on the news. And so that's how we started. And as kids, we had all that equipment, that video gear and editing equipment available. So we started writing our own stuff. So
That's awesome. That's awesome.
yeah, it was
You
pretty.
also answered my next question was how long have you been doing this? But that's been answered. Um, so when you started all that, what did your family say? Your family said, "Oh, great, I'm glad you found something," or they sit there and go, "Well, that's good as a kid, but you're going to do something serious, right? You're going to go to school and do something serious." How did you find that with your friends and family? Was supportive right from the beginning?
Yeah, there was some support, but to them it was just a hobby because when you're growing up in the south of France, you really don't have an avenue if you want to get involved in the film business. You got to move to Paris, and I was too young at that time. I was still in school, so to them it was just a hobby, something for me to do. Especially at that age, you could see kids kind of doing the wrong things, and it's really easy to make the wrong turn at that age. And so we kind of had something that I think to them was kind of like, okay, well, that's kind of cool. They're being supervised with adult, and they're bringing them under their wing. And so in a way they've always been kind of supportive. But it's when I moved to the States, it's not like they had a choice, because I was making my own ways. I was paying, I had my jobs to pay my bills and keep a roof over my head. So I mean, I was still pursuing the film thing, but it was a passion. It was something that I didn't want to give up. So regardless of whatever I was doing to pay the bills, I was still trying to connect with other filmmakers, or somehow to get involved in the film industry in Dallas, Texas.
Okay, cool, great. So I guess my next question is, do you have a support group of filmmakers? Like, do you have your tribe of filmmakers, your filmmaking tribe that you see a lot and work with a lot, and kind of you're the people you commiserate with?
No, not really. I mean, I've been looking for them. I don't know if they're out there, you know. It's like with social media these days, it's kind of a lot easier to join groups and try to reach out to people and go out to mixes and such things. So but you know, it kind of feels like for what I've experienced, a lot of people are out there doing their own thing. So as far as trying to find people with the same interest, it's always been a little bit challenging because you always kind of looked at, okay, here's the guy who's doing his thing over there, and you know, trying to jump in and try to I guess connect with other people was always a little bit challenging because, like I said, to me, they're doing their own thing. You want to help, you're willing to help, but it's like, how does this work? So in a way, no, I don't really think so.
No? Okay. Yeah, no, actually, it's funny because I run the film festival, but outside that, for my own film work, I'm pretty much it's me and the editor. That's pretty much it most of the time.
Right, you know, that's one of those things. It's when once you find the people that you actually, you know, like to work with and people that actually believe in you, that want to support you, then yeah, it's great. We have you have that support, but finding those people has been extremely challenging, I guess.
Yep, yep. And so what made you decide to make this film?
Well, it started with my first film, my first feature film. That was like in the 2004 and 5, and I went to the American film market, and it was a really eye-opening situation for me. You know, every distributors that we hit were looking for something that was very different than what we had to propose. We had a very nice slice of life kind of a big movie, and nobody wanted to touch it. And so, you know, when I came back, I was like, well, maybe I can give the distributors what they want without losing my integrity as a filmmaker and a storyteller.
Mhm.
I always say, you know, I would never make anything that I wouldn't show my own mother.
Mhm.
So, but I still wanted to make something that actually would sell, something that the distributors could put out there, you know. So that's how the idea started, kind of, you know, working with my director of photography, who also was my executive producer on the project, Richard Kroll. You know, we've worked together for a few years, and one day he was like, "Hey, can you write something for this place where he lived and where he had his studio? It was a very original place." And I said, "Yeah, I think I can do that." And so that's the location that we used in the movie. And so after doing that, we tried to raise the money, the budget for it. And it was hard. I mean, we knocked on every door, Dennis. I mean, from New York to LA, and nobody wanted to touch it. But in the meantime, I also was sending the movie, the script, to screenplay competitions, and it studied together a few nods here and there. So we said, okay. And then a company optioned the script for a few years, and he had what I call the snowball effect, meaning that everything starts to get bigger and bigger, and we're gonna get this budget, and the budget goes up, and then we're gonna get this guy, and then we're gonna get that guy, and I'm like, whoa, guys, this was written for like, you know, one location, a very small cast to be done very very small independently. And so after 4 or 5 years of that, we just realized that we you know, unless we did it ourselves, it wasn't going to happen. And since the location was secured, and you know, my DP and I, when 50-50 on this operation, you know, we said, all right, let's go, let's do it together. He provided the location, the equipment, and color grading, and I provided the script, took care of the talent, the actors, and the props, and such, and meals, of course. And so we just decided to go ahead and pull the trigger and do it ourselves. So that's kind of what happened and why.
So it was a long, long, hard road, but you got there.
Right, right. There was, yeah. I mean, I think the first draft was written in 2010.
Really?
So yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
So
my next question is, what was the hardest part about making this movie? But I think you kind of just went through it. And then my second question, which you might be able to put together, is what was the most fun part about making this movie? Oh, you just went dark.
oh, here we go. Sorry. Um, The most fun part about the movie was definitely making it with people that I've worked with in the past that I could trust, that I know we're going to be in it for the long haul, you know, because I've done projects before where people kind of have to go do different things and kind of bail out on you, and it's always having to start from scratch and very challenging. But this time I felt pretty secure. So working with people that I knew I could count on, that believed in it, was a lot of fun to do. You know, another thing about the most difficult part though was since we shot over a decent amount of time, about a year and a half, was trying to keep the weight, the look, the hair, and having to deal with that. That was pretty challenging. On
My,
top of course, trying to get the money for it. But
my first movie that I shot, the main actress, in the middle of it said, "I'm going on vacation," and she came back with this deep tan. I was like, what are you doing?
yeah, well, like I mentioned, it's like I had some people. It's like, oh yeah, I'm breaking up with my girlfriend. I'm moving back to the West Coast, and then somebody was like, I'm gonna be a model on the East Coast. So it's like every time you start from scratch. So
Yeah. All right. So I guess in some way you kind of answered this once again, but my next question is, what would you consider success in the indie film world? I mean, if we're honest, we're probably not going to buy mansions based on this and yachts. But so what would you consider success in the indie film world? What do you see
well,
as
yeah, well, I think that success is measured in different levels, different ways. But for the indie world, A, getting the movie done is a big deal. And two, I feel like as long as you retain the final cut on it and you're happy with the final product, that nobody's telling you, hey man, you got to change that ending. Well, I want a big explosion, or I need a big spider to come and eat everybody. As long as you got what you like and you're happy with it. So I guess in a way, the final cut on it is success, to be able to make a movie and still retain that creativity and that control.
Yep, yep. And then my next question is, on average, when you finish a project, are you able to let go and say, okay, that's the project, I'm done? Or do you always look at your projects and go, I think I'm going to tweak that again. Oh, I wish I had changed that ending. Oh, I wish I had shot that scene a different way. Which kind of a filmmaker would you say you are?
Well, I've learned to let go of things. You know your limitations. You know what you're dealing with. You know what you're doing. Of course, with that being said, you watch some things and you're like, I wish I would have done things a little bit different. I mean, I've always said the day you make the perfect movie, then you're done. You got to go find something else to do. But so yeah, I mean, you always see those little things that you wish you would have done differently. But if you get there and you're about 90%, 95% happy, I think it's okay. It's all right.
All right, cool. And my last official question is, so somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, Uncle Mike, I want to be, a filmmaker." And your 14-year-old nephew walks over and goes, "Hey, I want to be a filmmaker." What would be your response? What would you say?
Well, um be ready, it's gonna take months, not years, to get it done. So be ready for that. Surround yourself once again with people that you trust, people that do good work that you like, that you want to work with, and more importantly, that want to work with you, because everybody's going to be bringing something to the table. Check your ego at the door. That's important. You're hiring those people because you like what they do, so take the time to listen to what they have to say. And just if it's in your blood and you really want to make movie, just go for it. And talk to people and try to make some good connection.
All right, great. I mean, like, I'm basically done with any questions. Is there anything you want to say? Any thoughts? Any
Well,
concept?
it's funny because I just heard something that was kind of resonated with me a few days ago. It's something that the comedian Dave Chappelle mentioned, and he said something along the lines of, You know, sometimes you're living the dream, but sometimes you are in somebody else's dream. And I thought it was pretty powerful and strong thing to say. And you know, with that being said, you know, the other thing I like to say is tell people to come out to the New York City Indie Film Festival. If you like cinema, if you like independent cinema, it's a great place to be. I'll be there. So come out, support independent filmmakers. Hopefully Dennis will be there too.
Well,
And come out, come watch the movie with us, come talk to us afterwards. We love to have you know your opinion and talk to you guys. So yeah, come on out, have fun.
okay, great. Thank you. And thank you for agreeing to this, and thank you for sending your film to us. And we'll see you in June. I'm gonna
Thank you
turn-
so much for having me, Dennis. See you then.